Welcome to the deep dive. Our mission here, well, it's pretty straightforward. We take a whole bunch of sources, could be articles, research, maybe even notes you sent us, and we boil it all down.
Yeah, we pull out the most important bits, the really actionable insights.
Exactly. Think of it like your personal shortcut to getting properly informed. We try to find those surprising facts, maybe add a little humor, keep things interesting.
And today, we're tackling something huge. A goal millions share, but honestly, it feels overwhelming sometimes because there's just so much info flying around.
So much noise, right? And a lot of it, well, it's conflicting or just plain wrong.
Precisely. So we're doing a deep dive into how to lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
And our guide today, it's designed specifically to cut through all that. Gives you practical science-backed steps, stuff that works, is safe, and crucially, is sustainable.
Sustainable is the key word there, I
Yeah,
think.
it really is. It's built on the idea that you're looking for actual solutions, not just reading more data points. Like searching how-to online, you want an answer.
Absolutely. And we figure you're listening because you want to get up to speed quickly, properly, but without your head spinning.
Yeah, no information overload.
So maybe get ready to question a few things you thought you knew. We're going to unpack how this guide makes complex stuff seem, well, surprisingly simple.
Yeah.
And hopefully reveal a few aha moments.
Definitely. Okay, let's get into it.
Where do we start? The foundation.
Let's start right there. Because when you strip away all the fads, the quick fixes, the basic idea behind losing weight is actually pretty simple.
Okay.
It boils down to creating a caloric deficit.
Right. Sounds easy on paper. Burn more calories than you eat. But this guide really breaks down what that means. Calories in, okay, food and drink, obvious enough. But calories out. That's not just gym time, is it?
Not at all. That's the energy your body uses for everything.
Yeah.
Breathing, thinking, digesting.
Yeah.
Just existing, basically. And yeah, physical activity too. Your body is burning energy constantly, 24/7.
Right, like a background process, always running.
Exactly. And the crucial part, as the guy points out, is when you consistently consume fewer calories than you burn. Well, your body's smart. It has to get that energy somewhere.
So it taps into the stored fat.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It goes for those fat reserves. That's the actual mechanism of fat loss. It's not magic, just consistent energy balance.
Okay, makes sense. But the guide says before you even think about that deficit, setting goals is vital. Realistic goals.
Oh, absolutely critical. And this is where a lot of people kind of stumble right out of the gate. We often aim for these huge, dramatic changes really fast.
Yeah, we've all probably dreamed of that overnight transformation, haven't we?
Totally. But the guide is really clear. Aiming for super rapid weight loss. It's not just unhealthy, it's usually unsustainable.
Why is that? Does it backfire?
It often does. Your body can fight back, you might lose muscle, which slows your metabolism down. And then there's the rebound effect that the weight comes back, sometimes even more than before.
Ugh, okay. So what's realistic then?
The guide suggests aiming for about half a kilo to 1 kilo a week. That's seen as a healthy, sustainable rate.
0.5 to 1 kilogram per week. Okay.
Yeah. And think about tangible goals, too, things personal to you, like maybe fitting into a certain pair of jeans in 3 months or reducing your waist size by a couple of inches in 6 weeks.
Things you can actually measure and feel good about.
Exactly. Makes the whole journey feel more concrete, less abstract.
Yeah.
Avoid those extreme targets.
Got it. So goal set, then what? There's that common saying, right?
Right.
The 80-20 rule.
Ah, yes. Weight loss is 80% diet, 20% exercise. That's the popular wisdom. And this guide really leans into the diet part as the foundation.
Okay, so dialing in the diet is like non-negotiable. If someone wants to start right now, what are the first, say, 1 or 2 big things the guide says to tackle in their diet?
It really zeroes in on a couple of high-impact areas. First up, cut way down on refined carbs and sugar.
The usual suspects: white bread, pastries, sweets, sugary drinks.
Yep. But the guide goes a bit deeper. It explains why. These foods spike your insulin levels really fast. And while most people know sugar's bad, it highlights how even some refined carbs you might think are okay can cause these rapid blood sugar crashes.
And that crash makes you hungry again really quickly, right?
Exactly. Plus, consistently high insulin tells your body to store fat, not burn it. So you get hit twice. Fat storage signal, then intense hunger. It's a vicious cycle.
Wow. Okay, so cut the refined stuff. What do you replace it with? The guide must talk about that.
Oh, yeah. Big emphasis on prioritizing protein.
Like eggs, chicken, fish, tofu, beans, Greek yogurt too.
All of those. And it's not just about feeling full, though protein is great for that. It has a higher thermic effect. Your body burns more calories just digesting protein compared to fats or carbs.
Interesting.
And crucially, it helps preserve that lean muscle mass while you're losing fat.
Which keeps your metabolism higher, even when you're resting.
Precisely. Muscle burns calories just being there, so protecting it is key for long-term success.
But protein is in. What else?
Load up on vegetables and fiber. They're, low in calories, but packed with nutrients and fiber.
Keeps you full. Good for digestion.
Right? And the guide mentions getting diverse fiber sources. It's not just about feeling full. Different fibers feed the good bacteria in your gut.
The gut health connection. That's huge these days.
It really is. And gut health can influence metabolism, even your mood. So veggies and fiber are a massive win.
Okay, cut refined carb sugar, boost protein, load up on veggies fiber. What about just how much you eat? Portion control.
Yep, mastering portion control is the next piece. The guide has practical tips. Use smaller plates. Don't eat straight from the bag or container.
Classic advice, but it works.
It does. And then there's the idea of stopping when you're about 80% full.
Okay, that one sounds great in theory, but sometimes, especially if something's delicious, it's hard to know when to stop. Any tricks for that?
Yeah, it takes practice. The guide suggests really slowing down your eating pace.
Like consciously put the fork down between bites.
Exactly. Chew properly. Pay attention to your body's signals before you feel stuffed. It's almost like mindfulness for eating.
Mindfulness, okay.
A practical tip it offers is maybe rating your hunger before and after eating on like a 1 to 10 scale. Aim to start when you're actually hungry, maybe a 3 or 4, and stop when you're comfortably satisfied, like a 6 or 7, not bursting at a 9 or 10.
Rating hunger. I like that. Okay, so diet is clearly foundational, but the guide definitely doesn't ignore exercise, the 20%.
Yeah.
It talks about benefits beyond just burning calories, right?
Oh, absolutely. Exercise isn't just about the scale. It's huge for mood, sleep quality, energy levels.
Yeah.
The benefits are multifaceted.
So what kind of exercise does it focus on?
It breaks it down. First, cardiovascular exercise. Think walking, jogging, swimming, cycling. Great for burning calories relatively quickly, and importantly, for heart health.
How much cardio does it recommend?
The general guideline is aiming for at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity cardio per week. Consistency is key, not necessarily killing yourself in every session, especially when starting out.
150 minutes a week.
Okay. Then there's strength training.
Yes, lifting weights or even body weight stuff like squats, lunges, push-ups. We touched on this with protein. Strength training builds lean muscle.
Right, the calorie burning engine.
Exactly. More muscle means a higher resting metabolism. Your body burns more calories even when you're, watching TV. It's often the missing link for keeping weight off long term.
That makes sense. What about HIIT, high intensity interval training? I hear a lot about that.
The guide covers HIIT too. It's efficient, especially if you're short on time. Short bursts of really intense effort followed by brief rest periods.
What's the main advantage there?
It burns a lot of calories during the workout, for sure. But it also creates what's called the afterburn effect. EPIASI, excess post-exercise oxygen consumption.
Meaning you keep burning extra calories even after you stop exercising.
That's right. Your metabolism stays elevated for a while afterwards, so very effective for fat burning.
Okay, diet dialed in, exercise covered. When I first glanced at the guide, I kind of mentally skipped over this next part, but it really emphasizes things like hydration, sleep, and stress. Are they really that critical?
They are absolutely pivotal, often underestimated, but so important. Let's take water. It's essential. Helps digestion, makes you feel fuller, even gives your metabolism a little boost.
I've heard that sometimes you think you're hungry, but you're actually just thirsty.
That's exactly what the guide explains. Our bodies can mix up those signals. So, simple tips. Aim for maybe 8 to 10 glasses of water a day. Try drinking a glass before meals to help prevent overeating.
Good tip.
And the big one. Swap out those sugary drinks, sodas, juices, fancy coffees for water, herbal tea, or plain black coffee. Those liquid calories add up so fast.
Yeah, they really do. Okay, hydration makes sense. What about sleep and stress? That feels very relevant to, modern life.
Hugely relevant.
Oh.
And they can directly sabotage your efforts if they're out of whack.
Ouch.
Poor sleep messes with your hunger hormones. Ghrelin, the hormone that tells you you're hungry, goes up. Leptin, the one that says you're full, goes down.
Oh, wow. So you literally feel hungrier and less satisfied if you don't sleep well.
Exactly. Plus, you tend to crave more high-calorie, sugary stuff when you're tired. Makes sticking to your plan way harder. Aiming for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep is a recommendation.
Quality sleep. Okay. And stress.
Chronic stress pumps up cortisol. That's a hormone that, unfortunately, encourages belly fat storage.
Ugh, nobody wants that.
Right. And stress often leads to emotional eating, reaching for comfort foods, plus it can even slow down your metabolism a bit.
So managing stress isn't just like a nice to have for mental health, it directly impacts weight loss.
Directly. Techniques like meditation, deep breathing, yoga, even just journaling, they're not fluff. They're tools to manage cortisol and support your metabolism.
Okay, that's a really important connection. So let's say you're doing all this diet, exercise, water, sleep, stress management. How do you keep track and stay motivated when, the initial buzz wears off?
Great question. The guide stresses tracking progress and building a support system.
Tracking, like using an app or keeping a journal.
Yeah, methods like keeping a food journal, using apps like MyFitnessPal, taking weekly measurements, or even progress photos. It's not just about holding yourself accountable.
What else does it do?
It gives you data. You can see what's working, where you might need to tweak things. And seeing those small wins, losing an inch here, feeling stronger there, it's incredibly motivating. Celebrate those victories.
Yeah, that makes sense. And support.
Having support can make a huge difference. Could be joining a fitness group or online challenge, sharing your goals with friends or family who are supportive, or even working with a professional like a dietitian or a personal trainer for that expert guidance.
Someone to keep you on track and give advice.
Exactly. Shared goals, encouragement, it helps you push through when things get tough.
And speaking of tough, the guide is really clear this isn't a sprint. It calls it the long game. Patience, consistency, and avoiding those tempting fad diets.
This is so crucial because this is where many people get derailed. The guide explicitly warns against those quick fix diets.
Yeah.
Juice cleanses, detox teas, super low-calorie plans.
You know the ones. They promise miracles in a week.
Right. And maybe you lose some weight fast initially, often mostly water weight. But the guide explains these diets can mess with your metabolism, slowing it down, and almost inevitably, the weight comes back, often plus some extra.
The dreaded yo-yo effect.
Precisely. It hammers home that this needs to be about sustainable lifestyle changes, not just a temporary diet you suffer through. Treat your body like a complex system, not just a math equation.
So, patience and consistency. That sounds harder than a fad diet, maybe.
It requires a different mindset, for sure. Weight loss takes time and plateaus. Totally normal. Your body adapts. Progress might slow down after the initial phase.
So don't freak out if the scale doesn't move for a week.
Please don't. The key is consistency, not perfection. If you have an off day or an off meal, don't just throw in the towel. Acknowledge it and get back on track with your next meal and next workout.
Focus on the overall journey, not every single blip.
Exactly. And remember, slow progress is still progress. In fact, it's usually the kind that lasts.
The guide even gives a sample daily routine, doesn't it, to sort of visualize it all.
Yeah, it does. Just as an example, like morning, wake up, drink water, first thing, kickstart hydration,
Okay.
maybe a 30-minute walk or some light exercise. Then a high-protein breakfast, say eggs and veggies. Get that protein in early, helps manage insulin, like we discussed.
Okay. Midday.
Lunch with lean protein and complex carbs. Maybe grilled chicken, brown rice, big salad. And try to stay active during the day, quick stretch breaks, walk around a bit.
Avoid sitting all day.
Right. Evening, maybe a lighter dinner, perhaps fewer heavy carbs, gentle walk or some yoga to wind down, manage stress. Then aiming for a regular bedtime to get that crucial 7-9 hours of sleep.
It really ties all the pieces together, diet, activity, hydration, stress, sleep, into a potential daily flow.
Exactly. Makes it feel more doable, less like a list of rules.
So wrapping this all up, what's the main takeaway for someone listening right now, maybe feeling inspired but also a bit daunted?
I think the core message is that sustainable weight loss, the kind that really improves your health long term, it doesn't demand extreme suffering or living at the gym.
It's more integrated.
It really is. It's about understanding how mindful eating, consistent movement, prioritizing sleep, managing stress, how they all work together, and crucially, having patience with yourself and the process.
So the provocative thought to leave people with, maybe it's that your healthier, fitter self isn't some distant, punishing goal.
Exactly. It's not just about hitting a number on the scale. It's about building a set of healthier habits, making consistent, informed choices day by day for life. It's about building a body that doesn't just weigh less, but actually thrives. Start small, stay consistent. You can do it.